Willard Carroll Smith Jr. was born in West Philadelphia, a place that shaped both his resilience and his imagination. His upbringing sat between stability and quiet tension, guided by a disciplined mother and a demanding father. From an early age, he learned that personality could be protection. Humor became his shield, and charm became his language. While other kids blended in, Will stood out, not because he tried to, but because he couldn't help it. Teachers noticed his presence more than his grades, and neighbors remembered his energy more than anything else. Beneath that bright personality, though, was a child absorbing complex emotions he didn't yet understand. He carried those feelings silently, storing them away, while presenting a version of himself that made people smile. That duality, light on the surface, depth underneath, would follow him into adulthood. Discovering the power of performance. As a teenager, Will discovered music and with it a sense of direction. Partnering with DJ Jazzy Jeff, he found a rhythm that felt natural, almost instinctive. Their style stood out for its playful tone and accessibility, offering something lighter during a time when the genre was shifting toward heavier themes. Success came quickly, bringing recognition and awards at a young age. But with that success came inexperience, especially with money and responsibility. Financial mistakes soon followed, forcing him into a difficult reality check. Still, even in that moment of uncertainty, one thing remained clear. His ability to connect with people was real. That connection would become his greatest asset, opening doors that might have otherwise stayed closed. It wasn't just talent, it was presence, something that couldn't be taught or replicated. A second chance through television. At a time when everything seemed uncertain, an opportunity in television changed Will's path. A sitcom built around his personality gave him a new platform and a fresh start. What made the show special wasn't just its humor, but its heart. Will brought authenticity to the role, blending comedy with moments of genuine emotion. One particular scene, where his character confronts feelings of abandonment, resonated deeply with audiences. It revealed a vulnerability few expected, showing that behind the jokes was something real. That moment shifted how people saw him. He wasn't just entertaining, he was relatable. The show became a cultural touchstone, and Will became a household name. More importantly, it gave him confidence that he could do more than make people laugh. He could make them feel. Rising to global stardom, leaving television behind, Will transitioned into film with remarkable success. He quickly became one of the most bankable stars in Hollywood, leading blockbuster after blockbuster. His charisma translated seamlessly to the big screen, drawing audiences worldwide. But he didn't stop at action and spectacle. He took on roles that demanded depth and transformation, proving his range as an Abenada. Performances in emotionally driven films showed a different side of him, quieter, more introspective, and deeply human. Critics began to take him seriously, and awards recognition followed. At the height of his career, he had achieved something rare, both commercial success and artistic respect. Yet even as his professional life soared, there were signs that something within him remained unsettled, something that success alone couldn't resolve. The complexity behind the image to the public, Will's life looked ideal. Successful career, strong family, and undeniable charm. But privately, things were more complicated. His marriage required constant effort, honesty, and growth. Both partners were strong individuals with their own identities, and navigating that dynamic wasn't always easy. Over time, emotional distance grew, not from lack of love, but from unaddressed struggles. Will himself later acknowledged a deep reliance on external validation. He thrived on approval, often measuring his worth through success and recognition. This made stillness uncomfortable and vulnerability difficult. The image he projected to the world didn't always match what he felt inside. That gap between perception and reality became harder to maintain as the years went on. A public moment that changed everything. One night during one of the most important events of his career, everything shifted. A brief interaction turned into a moment that would define public perception of him for years. It was unexpected, uncomfortable, and impossible to ignore. Within minutes, It spread across the world, sparking conversations, debates, and strong opinions. For someone who had built a reputation on positivity and control, the moment felt like a rupture in that identity. Later that same evening, he stood on stage to accept a major award, delivering an emotional speech that reflected both pride and confusion. The contrast between celebration and controversy left audiences uncertain how to process what they had seen. It wasn't just about the incident, it was about what it revealed beneath the surface. Consequences and reflection. The aftermath was immediate and far-reaching. Professional opportunities slowed, public opinion shifted, and the steady momentum of his career paused. More than the external consequences, though, it was the internal reckoning that mattered most. For the first time in a long while, Will was forced into stillness. Without constant work and public attention, he had space to reflect. He began to look inward, revisiting parts of himself he had long avoided. Therapy and self-examination became central to his life. It wasn't about repairing an image. It was about understanding himself more honestly. He started to recognize patterns rooted in his past, including the ways he had learned to cope and perform. That process was not quick or easy, but it was necessary. Family, growth, and perspective. Through this period, his family remained an important anchor. Relationships evolved, requiring openness and patience. His role as a father took on new meaning, shifting from pride in achievements to appreciation for individuality. Watching his children grow into their own identities gave him perspective. It reminded him that life isn't measured only by success, but by connection and understanding. His approach to relationships became less about impressing others and more about being present. That change, though subtle, marked a significant shift in how he viewed himself and his place in the world. Growth didn't come from avoiding mistakes, but from facing them honestly and learning from them. A gradual return over time, Will began to reappear professionally. New projects signaled that audiences were still willing to engage with his work. While reactions remained mixed, there was a sense that his story wasn't finished. His return wasn't framed as a comeback, but as a continuation, one shaped by experience and reflection. The connection he built with audiences over decades proved resilient, though more nuanced now. People saw him differently, but perhaps more completely. He was no longer just the symbol of effortless success, but someone who had stumbled and was finding his way forward. That shift made his presence feel more grounded, less polished, and arguably more real. A story that reflects us all. Will Smith's journey is not just about fame or failure, it's about being human. His story highlights the tension between who we present to the world and who we are beneath it. It reminds us that success doesn't erase struggle, and that growth often comes from uncomfortable truths. What makes his story compelling isn't perfection, but imperfection made visible. In many ways, it reflects experiences that aren't unique to celebrities: pressure, identity, relationships, and the search for meaning. His life invites a simple but difficult question: who are we when we stop performing? The answer, as his journey shows, isn't found in applause or recognition, but in the quiet moments where we face ourselves honestly.